Welcome back. You're with us here on the special coverage of the exit polls, but post-exit polls coverage of what the market is going to do in reaction to the exit polls. Dipan Mehta is with us, Director of Elixir Equities, and Prakash Diwan, of course, is with us as well. Gentlemen, good morning. Good to have both of you here. Thanks for your time, Dipan. So, I don't know if you heard Ramdeo, Prashant Khemka and others. Is it going to be 2% or 3% or 4%? I mean, that range is there. Dipan, but it's going to be a big day tomorrow and then over the next couple of days as well. Your thoughts, first thoughts, looking at the exit poll numbers.
Yeah, good morning, Prashant, and thank you for inviting me on this Sunday morning show. I think it's going to be a great day on Monday. Really looking forward to it. And my sense is that whatever correction was there over the past week or so, that should get covered in one day itself. See, these are opinion polls and they are predicting, if you take the average, slightly more seats, 15, 20 more seats than what the NDA had got earlier. And broadly, that was what the expectation was. It was priced in. My sense is that, you could have a decent rally. Even on Tuesday, when the results start to come in, you may see stock prices move up even further. But end of the day, I think valuations are going to be a bit of a drag. And there is one likelihood of a sell-on news syndrome because all the positive news may get factored in pretty much soon. So it could turn any which way. But I do feel that, the trading bias has to increase. And on the whole, I think a lot of traders have entered this particular event pretty much light. So you could see heavy volumes on Monday and Tuesday. And just building up of trading positions again should take the index up by 2-3% or so.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, sell-on news kind of thing also can happen. Maybe Tuesday, right? Late Tuesday, once all of this gets factored in, and then we'll see. But if these are numbers which are true, Dipan, valuations, of course, are going to be a drag. But it's kind of hard to make a bearish case then, right? Going at least into all the way into the budget for the next many weeks in that sense. Dipan, would you agree?
You're right, Prashant. There are no negative triggers at all in this market. And, market will start again building a lot more reforms, a lot more government action, right, running into the budget. And that will keep the sentiment extremely high. And we'll soon have the monsoons as well. And monsoons typically are great months for the market. So I think we're getting into a very good season when it comes to the stock markets. But the challenge really, Prashant, is to find good quality stocks, It's all right, the portfolios are doing really well. And so much of money is coming into equity, but I don't know, buying at these levels, at these valuations, good quality companies typically trading anywhere from 50 to 100 times or so. And in my past experience, whenever we have bought at such high elevated P multiples, it all looks fine. You may even have a trading rally for 2-3 months. They go up by 10-15%. But, when the correction or bear market does start, then these stocks tend to correct enormously. So it's time to be a bit cautious as well. It's not that we are advocating liquidating a large part of your portfolio, but it's going to be very challenging, to deploy fresh funds in the market, and new ideas are really scarce.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's good to have that viewpoint on the table as well, because yes, these are times where it's very easy to perhaps get carried away. We have this trinity, right? We have this exit poll data to react to. We have GDP numbers that look really good. We had Wall Street that was pretty much waltzing along on Friday. So the starting cues for Monday are anyway looking absolutely phenomenal. Prakash, come in on this. So Monday expecting a gap up, how much? And the bigger question is what to do after the gap up? Start taking profits, stay put. What would you do over the next two sessions?
Good morning, Surbhi. Good morning, Prashant. Actually now that the exit poll outcomes are in front of us, it seems more difficult to figure out what to do in the market rather than what to anticipate on the seat count and the election outcome. Because as everybody's been pointing out, we are staring at a liquidity-driven pop-up that's bound to happen tomorrow morning. It's a matter of conjecture whether it will probably breach the new highs immediately, gap up, or will take some time after it opens up. But the point is, the last thing you want is to buy at these kind of tops, which are liquidity driven and not fundamentally this thing. While there's a lot of good news that's kind of, waiting to be processed in that sense, and it's been eclipsed with this election outcome, Surbhi. And I'll tell you a few of them very prominently. Look at the earnings. The Nifty earnings have been at 1050 plus, which is actually on the higher end of the anticipation for FY24. Going forward, if things continue to look good, maybe another 100, 110 rupees of EPS addition. you probably are looking at a 20 plus P multiple on FY25 numbers. So, at these levels, it's more easier to kind of pick up smaller stocks, mid-cap stocks, which give you that comfort. The second thing is some of the sectors which haven't participated and which have a PSU pedigree to boot, it's banks and it's OMCs. While defense, railway, things like power, all of that have moved up. I would be extremely wary of buying more into these narrative stocks, as one of the brokerages rightly pointed out. I mean, anything going wrong at some point, not tomorrow, not day after, not next week, but sometime later, we'll see a correction which could be fairly sharp in some of these stocks that have run up. And Nimesh actually very well put that on the Friday evening show, where he explained that the earnings haven't actually justified in a lot of cases where the performance of the stock has been superlative. So, these mismatches are what you need to kind of see getting stabilized. As an investor, I'm going to be smugly looking at the portfolio do well tomorrow and day after, but not buying into anything specifically. If you had to buy anything, as I said, there are pockets of PSU banks. Look at the continuity. Look at the capex that will continue to grow, in fact, for this rest of the financial year. And if that were to happen, financials have to participate. PSU banks have to rally in. And the market's clairvoyance, if that's anything to go by, on Friday, you saw the last 1 hour how the bank Nifty kept firming up. So, it's going to be very selective when it comes to buying for investors, but probably traders make a lot of money, hopefully on Monday and Tuesday. But I'm not too sure whether it's a great time to pick stocks in these 2-3 days.
Gentlemen, I completely take all your caution and take it on board. But I'm just saying, I was also looking at some of the post-earnings season notes. So FY24, Nifty has ended with 24% EPS growth. And most of the projections for the current year are still 15-16%.
Yeah.
And the experts we heard from earlier are saying if you're doing 15%, that you're going to be doubling the market in 5 years. Just reiterating what the wise men are saying.
No, absolutely. At that point was good, what Prakash said, right? Good times, but not good prices. But that rarely happens together. So I want to ask both of you, we've got limited time. Prakash, 3 names. When we come back tomorrow, it's hard, I know, but 3 names. Which you think, which you would get behind? Yeah.
No, absolutely. So I'm not saying there's no buying, but these 3, and it's good it's just 3 names that you're seeking, but there are not many on the list. The first one would be a Canara Bank. As I said, PSU Bank, so let me validate that by a specific name.
Okay.
I would also look at an IDBI, given the fact that the decks are cleared for some privatization that would happen. And the third one is on the OMC basket, and I love IOC. It's done well, corrected, and there's no reason for it not to continue doing well. So there's no exuberance there, Prashant, and there's salience. So that makes it 3 for you at this point in time.
I should have asked 5. I think you have more. IDBI, Canara, and IOC,
IDBI.
right?
Yeah, IDBI and IOC. That's
IOC,
right.
Yeah.
That's
Got that. Dipan, same one to you?
Prashant, my preference is for large cap stocks because I want to tilt the portfolio towards safety, and in the event of a correction, small caps will correct more than large caps. So I'd go for Bajaj Finance, Larsen & Toubro, and Sun Pharma.
Okay, Bajaj Finance, Larsen & Toubro, and Sun Pharma. 3 names. By the way, Dipan, are you anticipating something in the near term? A bit of a sell on the news kind of thing? Or this is just sort of broadly steering the portfolio towards slightly more large caps because just valuations are too high elsewhere?
Prashant, the only scenario we can see that there's be a correction is if on Tuesday the numbers are less than what these numbers are.
Yeah.
And if they go back to 303 or 300 for BJP and 330 for NDA, then that's going to be a discount because these numbers, 350 plus 360 number for NDA will get discounted in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And thereafter, I think if any disappointment comes, that could be a bit of a correction. And, opinion polls have been wrong. Exit polls have been wrong in the past. I was there in 2004 and I cannot forget that, that lesson which I learned over there. That time also exit polls were predicting a very decent number for BJP. And what happened was the exact opposite. I hope it doesn't happen. But,
the poll of exit polls in 2004, I looked up the number, was showing 257. They ended with 181. And I remember that vividly as well. I was also on a newsroom floor. But strange things happen. But Dipan, right now, if the numbers are, 303, 304, not to 320 or something, will that make that big a difference? Because at the margin, and many will not admit it, but people were kind of a little skittish, let the numbers come, at least some were a little skittish. So the worry, for them, the worry was not whether it'll be 3 or 5 or whether it'll be 320. It was whether they'll be able to get absolute majority, that kind of thing, for people who are worried. So if there's a difference on Tuesday compared to what exit polls are showing, will that 20-odd point difference, and if they reach what they did in 2019, make a difference?
Hey, Prashant, I think, one important angle I want to bring into the picture here is how will BJP interpret these polls, Because if you get higher number of seats than 2019, then it means that they will go full ballast on all of their various economic policies, and they will take even more difficult decisions, bite the bullet on certain reforms like, say, labor or judiciary for that matter. But if the seats are the same or slightly lower, then there'd be a tilt towards populism and towards more of these populist policies, giving more benefits to the the poorest class, and maybe even raise taxes. So I think it's important from the market point of view that the BJP and the NDA get more seats than before, because that would mean that whatever they're doing it right, and they will do it with even more vigor.
Sure.
So that's the important differentiation this time.
Okay. Well, let's see if indeed that turns out. Then we'll have to navigate it, on Tuesday. But on Monday, we have to, of course, look at the numbers that we've got, and they all point towards a resounding majority for the current government. Gentlemen, thanks very much. We're completely out of time, not out of questions, but we will keep these discussions going through the course of the week. Thank you very much for joining in on this special broadcast. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this special coverage. Thank you very much for watching.